Beethoven, a composer and pianist, was known mostly for being deaf, and his pieces including Ode to Joy and the Moonlight Sonata. Ludwig van Beethoven started playing the keyboard very early, at age 5. His first instructor was his own father, but his most influential early teacher was Christian Gottlob Neef. At that time piano was not yet fully developed and most probably Beethoven started his first symphony was composed for Baron Gottfried van Swieten, came at age 29.
Loved it.
Even the first and second symphony already, they are so heavenly and so wonderful that you just feel you're safe. You're living a peaceful life.
Julie Giulietta Guicciardi entered Beethoven's life in the late 1790s. The wealthy daughter of noble parents, she began taking piano lessons with him in 1801, and he almost immediately fell in love with her. Her marriage to a count, who was also a composer, seemingly did little to dampen Beethoven's ardor.
She was bedridden, and her friend Ludwig van Beethoven arranged to have a piano placed near her room where he played. This is the fantasy scene, I'm sure, of many a young woman. And they fell genuinely and deeply in love.
His loss of hearing first started when Beethoven first noticed difficulties with his hearing. Then, he started to notice a buzzing sound in his ears decades earlier, sometime in 1798, when he was about 28. By the time he was 44 or 45, he was totally deaf and unable to converse unless he passed written notes back and forth to his colleagues, visitors and friends. If he couldn't hear, how did he write music? Beethoven had heard and played music for the first 3 decades of his life, so he knew how instruments and voices sounded and how they worked together. His deafness was a slow deterioration, rather than a sudden loss of hearing, so he could always imagine in his mind what his compositions would sound like.
In his head.
There's so much darkness in his life, but he looked up to find the sun and the light. And despite everything that happened to him, he did succeed.
Beethoven suffered from lead poisoning. New tests confirm that Ludwig van Beethoven suffered from lead poisoning. The legendary composer, who experienced decades of illness that left him in misery for most of his life, died in 1827. Beethoven remains up to now one of the most famous and admired composer in the world of music.